messages on this live stream, but as you can see, I'm in front of Nelco Comics. Here is the sandwich poster bought. Oh, there you go. And we're right opposite the intersection of Hill and North Flores. Am I having internet issues? I hope not. So, as you know, this weekend is my album release weekend, and I'm very excited about it. It's been a long time coming, so let's do it. The first item on the list is a walkthrough of Nelco Comics. So here is Nelco Comics. Let's go in. Knock, knock, knock. Ding, ding, ding.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Philip Nelson.
Welcome to Nelco Comics in San Antonio, Texas. We're so excited to have you here today.
Thanks, Philip. Show us around, please.
Well, the concept here, as you can see behind me, it's not your normal comic book store. Nelco Comics is what I consider a speakeasy comic shop. We're low-key, as you saw outside, no fancy signs. Pretty much you have to know we're here to be here. Maybe not the best business model, but it's what I like. So our concept is we don't really sell a lot of new comic books. We probably have the greatest on display collection of 60s, 70s, 80s comic books in San Antonio. So like the way it works here, we have, you know, higher end comics on the wall, and on this wall you'll see Avengers #1. You'll see Hulk number 3, 4, 5, and 6. You'll see Spider-Man #1. It's crazy cool old comics. And so basically the way we're set up is we have these cases here that have the vintage books. Anything that's like $25 or more is either in the cases or on the wall. And then over on the right side of the shop, we actually have the what I call back issues. So anything 20 bucks or less, but we have like huge inventory of Spider-Man, you know, Batman, Superman, Avengers, Daredevil, Punisher, blah, 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 blah. So also, because it's a speakeasy shop, and watch your step, Shelly. You know, we do a couple of other things. We have a Galaxian machine. So this Galaxian machine, if you're a video game fan, this was the first sprite-based video game. So it was the predecessor. It was the follow-up to Space Invaders, basically, and the predecessor to Galaga. So the rule is if you can beat me in Galaxian at Nelco Comics, then you get $5 or less comic books at half price. Currently, my high score is 17,000. I'm actually pretty good, but every now and then I do bad and someone beats me. Also, you know, we made it cool. I like old comics, so this is our Nelco Comics t-shirt. You know, it's kind of a throwback to the old pre-code horror comic books and sci-fi comic books of the 1950s, done by a local artist named C. Raymond. And, you know, it's just like a throwback, but this is the Nelco Comics shirt. Also, we have a free play jukebox, which you just pick your record and play it. It's a 1980s jukebox. This is actually, we talked about it pre-show a little bit, but this is kind of the homage to Star Wars Starfield jukebox. But what's cool about it is it's actually playing 45 records. So if you're a record collector, you have all your records loaded in the numbered slots. And when I pick a song, and I'm gonna pick a song for you guys just for fun, we're gonna do, this is Shelly's favorite song, so I'm gonna play it. So
that one?
This is her favorite song. So look, it rotates the record, it picks it. If you pick the A side, it drops down the A side. And this is Shelly's new favorite song. Are you guys ready? Here. Consider yourself Rickrolled, everybody. But my goal is to have the Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up as the most popular song on the jukebox, because if you're lazy and just hit popular play, you get Rickrolled at Nelco Comics, so you have been warned. There's another one on there that's really fun. I have Tom Jones' What's New Pussycat. So if you have any suggestions of great 45s that should be on our jukebox, it's an eclectic mix. I've got everything from Quiet Riot, Duran Duran, Smithereens, They Might Be Giants, you know, all the way to Marty Robbins and Jim Reeves. So old country, you know, rock, pop, some punk, some metal, and we do have Weird Al Yankovic. And so the other thing about this comic shop that's cool, and it's not really set up right now since Shueh-li will be performing here in just a minute, is it's a podcast studio. So the reason I built the comic shop was I wanted to create my own podcast studio. And I was like, what would be a cool backdrop? Oh, a comic book store. So I actually built this comic shop as a backdrop for a podcast. And then I had people calling me going, hey man, can I come in your comic shop? And I'm like, sure. And next thing you know, we're opening it to the public. But what's really cool, and you'll be the first to know, all Shueh-li's fans, on July 9th, we're launching a new podcast that's shot here, and we'll get away from Rick Astley since he's driving me crazy. But anyway, it's called Relatively Famous, and it's hosted by a guy named Chip White, who is a film producer and also happens to be the brother of Wheel of Fortune legend Vanna White. And so the reason it's called Relatively Famous is all his life, no matter what he does, what movie he makes, people introduce him, hey, this is Vanna White's brother. So we only interview family members of famous people. And we launch our first episode on July 9th, and we've already got 10 episodes recorded. We have Chris Carson, who is Johnny Carson's nephew. We have Gigi, who is Vanna White's daughter. We have Ryan Cassidy, whose brothers are David and Sean Cassidy, and his mom is Shirley Jones. The list goes on, but the whole concept of this podcast is not about the celebrity. It's about how does someone stand on their own in the shadow of a famous family member. And it's really amazing to talk to them about what they do. And, you know, some of them are filmmakers, some of them work in business, but they're all making a name for themselves, even though every time they get introduced, it's like, this is so-and-so's son, this is so-and-so's brother. So that's launching on July the 9th. So we're super excited to have Shueh-li here. And as you can see, I talk for hours without her even having to say anything. But we're excited to have her here today. We've got some Theremin fans in San Antonio. And we can't wait to hear this album launch.
Thanks, Philip. Could you give us a quick, maybe 3-minute walk around with a little minor commentary? So
yes.
I'll start from this side.
Okay, so this is actually pretty cool. I collect original comic book art, and I started doing that when I was a kid. And so this is an original art page from Incredible Hulk 275. I paid $30 for it back in the 80s. It's probably worth about 10 grand now. This is the cover of X-23, which is Wolverine's daughter. If you saw the movie Logan, the little kid. So Billy Tan is an artist from Malaysia who is one of my favorite artists of all time, and he did X-23, and that's original cover. Here's another piece of Billy Tan art from New Avengers 48. And I love this page because you have Wolverine trashing Electro, you have Miss Marvel zipping through the sky, and Thing battling Abomination. Now this is a historic piece right here. If you're a Spider-Man fan, this is the opening title page for Amazing Spider-Man number 239, the very first full issue with Hobgoblin in it. And once again, in the 80s, I paid $30 for this, and I think it's probably worth $15,000 to $30,000. But the list goes on and on as we go down the wall. We've got original art from The Mighty World of Marvel from the UK. So in the United Kingdom, comic books weren't the same format as us. Like here in the US, we have this style of comic book, but in the UK, they're more of a tabloid style shape. So you see this artwork from Mighty World of Marvel, and it doesn't line up with the US style. So they have some really cool art. This one is awesome because if you're a Punisher fan, this is from the Punisher miniseries that came out in the 80s by Mike Zeck and John Beatty. And this is page number 2 from issue number 5 with Punisher dealing with some secret toxic smoke. I love this one. I'm a huge Gambit fan. I'm originally from Louisiana. And so when I was a little kid, Gambit resonated with me because he was a Louisiana guy, Remy LeBeau. And this is the cover from Gambit versus Deadpool done by Larry Stroman. And it's just a really cool cover. And this one is from the X-Men annual number 4, page 24, and it's Storm and Nightcrawler battling some harpies or something crazy like that. Here's another one that's got a great story. And it'll come back to me. Or you can show this and I'll tell the story. So one of the things we're trying to do at Nelco Comics is create more community and bring people together to talk about geeky things or music or whatever. We host a lot of meetups here for like the San Antonio Podcasters meetup, and we've got a group that does neuroscience stuff that just wants to do neuro something bingo, and we just host stuff because we just want to build community. So one of the, like Shelly's here today, we're building community, we're having fun, but we had an artist named Steve Rude come in and do a painting workshop. 2 days, painted 2 paintings, talked about his process, educated people on how he does all these famous covers. He's done World's Finest Comics, Hulk versus Superman. He's co-creator of a legendary independent comic called Nexus. And so he came here, signed autographs for everybody, showed people how he does paintings, watercolor and pastel. And I became friends with him, and we just had a great time showing him San Antonio. And then about a week after he left, I get this in the mail. This is some of his original art from the Commandy Challenge, because Jack Kirby was one of his huge influences. Jack Kirby's a legend of comic art from back in the olden days. And so Commandy was a Jack Kirby character, but Steve Rude did it in the style of Jack Kirby. And he sent me, this art as a thank you. So I love art, I love music, I love comic books. Also, we'll come over here and I'll show you some cool stuff. So Bill, I need your help.
Yes.
So hand me Hulk 181.
Yes,
So
sir.
the other thing we try to do is have comics that nobody has on the wall. So this is Hulk number 181, first appearance of Wolverine. This comic doesn't have a price on it because I kind of don't want to sell it, but I want it up here, and if somebody makes me an offer, I will consider all offers. Also hand me Avengers number 1 on the left side of Hulk. So, once again, you can see books that you don't see in a normal comic shop. Oh, he's bringing some other cool stuff. So this is a very low-grade Avengers number 1. And I like to collect low-grade books because, one, I'm not spending $50,000 on a comic book. But this one's $1,000, for an Avengers number 1. So that's pretty cool. Now, here's one of my favorites. The Incredible Hulk was a series. Everybody now knows The Incredible Hulk. But when it came out in the 60s, it was a complete flop. This is Hulk number 3. And so what happened, The Incredible Hulk only lasted 6 issues when it came out. Nobody read it. Nobody bought it. No one cared about the giant Hulk leaping through the sky. And so it was canceled. And then years later, they brought it back and they started with issue number 100. And so really, if you want to have a complete set of Incredible Hulk, you get Hulk number 1 through 6, and then 100 through whatever. But these are insanely rare books. I've got Hulk number 3, 4, 5, and 6. I don't have a 1 and a 2. The number 1 is, one of the other things back in the old days, if you didn't sell a comic book, this wasn't considered a collectible, it was a periodical.
Okay.
So just like magazines, if you have a newsstand and you order a bunch of magazines and you don't sell them, you can cut off the top of the cover, return that, and throw the magazine away. And so a lot of the Incredible Hulks were destroyed because the top part of the cover was cut off, or the comics were destroyed because they didn't sell them. So it's really, these are actually some of my prized comics in the shop, the Hulk 3, 4, 5, and 6, because I've seen a lot of Spider-Man number 1s, I've seen a lot of Fantastic Four number 1s, I've seen a lot of all these books, but this 3, 4, 5, and 6 were the first times I've ever actually held those in my hand, and I had to buy them when they were in my hand. But yeah, so that's Nelco Comics. We have, also we have Bill Field, who runs the shop. He's hiding somewhere, but he's the one that handed me the books. But Bill is actually a comic book historian. So it's not a comic shop where we hire a bunch of, 15-year-old kids who don't read comic books. everybody here can come talk comic books all day with you. We can talk about who was the artist on this and where was the first appearance of this, and and it's really more, like I said, about building the culture. And we're not a super profitable shop. We don't get a ton of customers because we're very niche, but I really don't care. We just want cool people to come in, hang out, geek out with us, try to beat me in Galaxian, and then talk comic books.
Thanks, Philip. That's been a great tour. I didn't know most of those little trivia.
Well, I'm full of it. Trivia, that is.
Yes, Philip is definitely full of it.
Ouch! You didn't have to agree so quickly, but I will tell you. I want to show you my prized possession now. I talked about these, but if you look up here on this wall, you'll see that I have an autographed poster from Shueh-li, and she wrote. I didn't ask her to write this. She wrote it on her own. It says, "Philip, you are the stuff of legends." I'm kidding. I did tell her to write that. But so what? But this, anytime we have a guest come in, we have something on the wall to kind of signify their appearance here and the time they were here. And we just love having our guests. And we're so excited to hear the new album launch from Shueh-li today, and Theremin in the house.
Thanks, Philip. Thanks so much. So everyone, you got the tour of Nelco Comics, and you got to see Philip. And that's his family right there, here to welcome me and to support the whole album launch. We should get a few other people coming in soon, but I will start the album launch. Give me 5 or so minutes. I need to reconnect the remote cam. I'm gonna call my phone the remote cam. Some of you, my viewers, know my iPhone as the Theremin cam, but today it shall be the remote cam, and you shall see why. So in the meantime, stay put, stay glued to my Oceana Sheen channel, and be ready for me to jump on the album release. I'll actually play some pieces live on the Theremin. Then I will go through the album, and then I will conclude the album launch with a few other pieces that I'll play live. So you hang in there, and I'll be back very soon, okay? Bye till 5 minutes time. Don't go away now. Bring your friends.